Good evening and welcome to Cougar Corner, where we spotlight the Arlington Catholic football program through the year. This is the first of what we hope will be several installments of the corner, and there is lots to talk about, even though it's a month away from kickoff. My name is Scott Zwick, and as always, I'm with the professor, Rob Anthony. Pards, welcome back from your golf outing out west. Lots have going on with the Cougars since Thanksgiving.
Well, it sure has, Scott. And the big news, as you know, is that after 29 years being the head football coach of Arlington Catholic and also teaching theology, Serge Clivio has retired, and that's going to be a big void for the Cougar football program. Big shoes to fill for his successor. You and I have positive feelings about Coach Clivio. Certainly, he's been a great leader. Certainly, if I had a son who played football, I'd want him to play for Coach Clivio. He's also a very creative and effective football mind, and he'll be missed.
He certainly will be missed, and I think the story that we can share that I think kind of sums up Coach Clivio's impact on the community was that we made a nice Facebook post, a real small Facebook post, just thanking Coach Clivio for his years that we worked together with him. And it got 6,000 hits and over 200 replies from people all over the community who said one thing: thank you, Coach Clivio. So this is a coach who's had a very positive impact past the football field. Well, it wasn't long after Coach Clivio announced his retirement that the search for his successor began. Arlington Catholic was able to keep the core principles of Clivio alive when they announced that his replacement would be a former player. Anthony Petrelis was hired as the new head coach of the Cougars and brings with him a wealth of experience, both at Arlington Catholic, where he graduated in 2001, and the Medford Public Schools, where he has taught for the last 11 years. He is the recipient of the prestigious Milken Educator Award, an honor that only 40 teachers each year can boast nationwide. Professor, these are exciting times for the Cougars.
Well, they're super exciting, Scott. Anytime there's a new football coach, it's exciting for the coach, exciting for the players, the families, and really the school and the community, the alumni. I mean, there's a lot of people, a lot of eyes on Coach Petrelis, and he's going to have the opportunity to really put his own stamp on AC football, but he'll also have a lot of challenges. There's a new coach coming in. You've got to install a new system. You've got to create relationships with your coaching staff and really build a staff. You have to worry about player evaluation and team evaluation. What can we do? Kind of negotiate between what I'd like to do and what I think I can do, and also really figure out how to manage the balance of values and performance and manage the expectations of all the stakeholders. So it's going to be a fun year and good to plug in and good to see.
It's going to be good to plug in and to see, and we'll be right back with Coach Petrelis right after this.
My name is Max Tuluka, and if you're interested in pursuing a career in sports media, come on down to Studio B at 892 Mass Ave in Arlington.
Going live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Cougar Corner. We're excited to have with us today Arlington Catholic football coach Anthony Petrelis. Welcome, Coach Petrelis.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's awesome that you came in today. So tell us a little bit about the journey that started with a player at Arlington Catholic and then out in the world and came all the way back as now the head coach.
Yeah, certainly. So I graduated in 2001. I was a captain of the football team then. Went off to college for 4 years and came back and joined the team as a freshman defensive coordinator. Next year was promoted to JV defensive coordinator, defensive back coach, and then 2 years after that, in 2008, I took over as varsity defensive coordinator, and I held that position for about 7 years at Arlington Catholic. Won a Super Bowl, a few league championships, and really kind of learned a lot as a coach. I think as a player, you think you know so much. When you get on the other side of the ball, it's a little different. being a coach. So I learned a lot coaching at Arlington Catholic, obviously with Coach Colicchio, and as a mentor, as a father figure, as a just an all-around friend. Really learned a lot about the game as a coach, but also as a person, and how you present yourself and carry yourself as a coach to young players. So.
And Coach, so as we know, coaches have styles. They have games that they prefer and coaching philosophies. How would you describe your style and coaching philosophy?
So the biggest thing I would say with my style is preparation. As a defensive coordinator, one thing that I would always say is that we were very well prepared defensively. So knowing what teams' tendencies are, knowing what teams want to do on certain downs and distances, and being prepared for that, communicating on the field, really listening to your players listening to you. So coming into coaching here now as the head coach, one thing that I really want to kind of let my players know is that we need to be prepared at all times. And preparation doesn't just come on the field, it comes off the field too, with being in the weight room, studying film, communicating with your teammates, asking your coach questions. I want it to be one of those things that we're constantly thinking, and players are studying what they need to study and asking coaches questions, and coaches are watching film and breaking things down and asking players questions. So a very open line of communication, but being a very well prepared football team at all times.
Well, speaking of prepared, is there a certain style or offense that you are going to be running this fall?
So, being a defensive coordinator was pretty easy to figure out the defense first and what I wanted to do. And I'm a big believer in the 3-4, because it's very easy to roll to a 4-3 depending on what you're going to see up front, as far as, you're going to see an I backfield, you're going to see a spread backfield, are you going to see 2-back, you're going to see double tight. So, a 3-4-4-3 allows you to be pretty flexible depending on what you see in your opponent. And it's just shifting down gaps and, moving coverages around a little bit, but nothing that's too complicated to go from one to the other. Offensively, I'm still talking with my coaches. We have a pretty good idea. We definitely want to be an up-tempo spread type team, whether it's true spread, pistol, and again, we have 2-backs or a tight end with twins, So we're still trying to really figure out our philosophy, but we want to play fast. In order to play fast, we need to make sure that we play to our personnel correctly. And obviously, as a coach and staff, we're very prepared in, what we have and what teams are going to give us on defense, and how we're going to, take advantage of that and be able to run our offense effectively.
So, Coach, we talked in the open about a couple of challenges you face: player evaluation, building a team of coaches. How is that relationship forming with the coaching staff going so far?
It's been going great. The first thing I did really when I got hired was I set up individual meetings with the coach and staff. So I met with each coach individually. For me, what was really important was really getting to know the coach. Anybody can coach football, and you can teach anybody to coach football, but I'm really looking for good people that are working with these kids year-round basis, and are a good influence, and teaching the values that I'm looking for as a coach, and being positive and being a good mentor. So that was really important to me. That I really got to know the coaching staff at that level to make sure that we had the right guys on board to go forward with where we want the program to go. And then after that, I also set up interviews with the players individually. It was like 15, 20-minute interviews of getting to know them a little bit more, for them to get to know me. A lot of them are multiple sport athletes, so it was really kind of working around everyone's schedule. And to me, being a multiple sport athlete is great. It keeps you competitive, it keeps your brain going, it puts you in situations that you wouldn't be if you weren't playing another sport, and it keeps your brain fresh. So when you get into competitive or tough situations, you know how to deal with it from a mental aspect. So it was great meeting with all the kids, and they were all very eager, and I couldn't have asked for a better start to my coaching career at Arlington Catholic, as far as being the head coach and everybody really being on the same page and really wanted to get to the same place, So it's been great. It's been awesome.
So, Coach, you talk about values and demonstrating values. What would you say are the values of? Certainly, when I think Arlington Catholic football, that's one of the brands. Could you articulate what the values are?
Yeah, the number one thing is just being a good person. When I think of Arlington Catholic football as a player and as a coach over the years, it's always been to do the easy things right. It's being a good person on the field, it's being a good person off the field. It's being, a good family member, a good community member, a good school member. I'm looking for people that are giving all around effort in every aspect of their life, and they want to help others. So to me, what's really important about this program is that I don't have kids that are just on the same page about playing football, but I also have kids that are on the same page that care about each other off the field, making sure that they're doing everything they can to be a good school, a good student, a good family member, a good community member. So that stuff's really important to me, and sometimes, it's more important than, what's on the field. It's about creating people off the field that can be better influenced and succeed together on the field.
So, Coach, you mentioned, you touched on what my next question was. So, with a young program just starting out, how important are wins and losses?
Wins and losses, I think, are always important. I think you definitely want to always have success. But building a foundation that's going to have your win-loss total, your win total get higher and higher every single year is sometimes you got to build a foundation. And I think it's really important that, as a football coach and also being a teacher, I think it's important for the kids to realize the work that goes into having success and being successful. Success, unfortunately, just doesn't happen when you wake up and that's it. It's the work that you put into it when nobody's watching you. It's the work that you put into it when you're supposed to, I think, is what builds success. So for me, wins and losses are very important. But building a great culture and building a great program and having kids leave this program and having those, that work ethic that they can carry on for the rest of their life is just as much as important to me as anything else.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you for joining us today and introducing us to your program.
Absolutely.
We thoroughly enjoyed it, and we hope to check back with you throughout the summer and see how you're progressing.
Yes, that'd be great.
For Rob Anthony, Coach Petrelis, I'm Scott Zwick saying next time on Cougar Corner, we'll see you then. Bing, bang, boom.